AAC is not a reward. It's a basic human right. Today, we're breaking down where the idea of earning communication comes from, why it does not align with how regulation works, and what truly supports autistic kids in hard moments. I'm Tara Phillips, and this is the Autism Little Learners podcast, where I share simple, neuro-affirming tools to support young autistic children with compassion and confidence. One of the most common and damaging misconceptions about AAC is the idea that children need to earn access to communication. The belief often sounds like, once they calm down, we'll bring the AAC device back. Or they need to show they're ready first. Or if we give AAC now, it'll reinforce the behavior. These ideas are widespread, often well-intentioned, and deeply rooted in behavior-based thinking. But here's the truth. AAC is not a reward. Let me say it louder for those in the back. AAC is not a reward. Communication is a basic human right. And when we treat communication as something to be earned, we unintentionally make regulation harder, not easier. Many educators and caregivers were trained in systems where access was conditional. Access to preferred items, activities, or support often depended on following directions, completing tasks, and demonstrating calm behavior. Over time, this way of thinking quietly made its way into how AAC was used. The AAC device became something offered after compliance instead of something available during distress. The problem is that communication doesn't work the same way as a toy or a reinforcer. Communication isn't a motivator, it's a support. When a child is dysregulated, their nervous system is focused on survival. In that state, processing slows, flexibility decreases, and expressive language becomes harder to access. And this is true for speaking children and AAC users alike. Expecting a child to regulate before communicating ignores how regulation actually works. For many children, communication is what helps them regulate, especially during moments of frustration or in meltdown. Being able to say stop, help, all done, break, don't want, can be the difference between escalation and relief. When AAC is removed or withheld during hard moments, children learn powerful lessons, but they're not the ones we want them to learn. They may learn communication is not available when I'm upset. My feelings are too much, or adults don't understand me. These experiences can contribute to autism meltdowns, such as increased frustration, shutdown, escalation, and loss of trust. None of these outcomes support regulation or communication. When AAC is consistently available, even during these moments of distress, it supports regulation in several important ways. Number one, communication reduces uncertainty. Knowing that communication is always available helps kids feel safer. They don't have to wonder whether their voice will be taken away when things get hard. Predictability is regulating. 2, AAC supports self-advocacy. AAC gives children a way to express their needs and boundaries without relying on behavior. Words like stop and all done are not defiant, they're protective. Honoring those messages supports autonomy and emotional safety, especially during moments that might otherwise escalate into a meltdown. Number 3, communication builds trust. When adults consistently honor communication attempts, spoken or via an AAC device, children learn, my voice matters. Trust is one of the strongest regulators there are. Supporting AAC during dysregulation doesn't mean prompting or demanding communication. It means modeling without expectation. And this might look like calmly modeling help while offering support, modeling all done as you guide a transition, modeling stop while honoring a protest. No pressure, no correction, no requirement to respond. Even when a child doesn't use the AAC device, learning is still happening. They're learning that the communication's available, the adults are supportive, and their feelings are valid. Many adults worry that providing AAC during distress will maybe somehow reinforce the behavior or interfere with self-regulation or make things worse. These fears are understandable, especially for people that maybe were trained in more of a behavioral-based method. But AAC is not behavior management, and again, it comes back to that word access, and access should never be conditional. So moving away from AAC as a reward requires a mindset shift. Instead of thinking the child has to earn access, we ask, does the child need support right now? And how can I use the AAC device to model that support by modeling what they might be feeling or thinking? Instead of focusing on behavior, we focus on that connection, safety, and communication. And this shift doesn't happen overnight, but it really does change everything. When AAC is always available, children begin to use the communication more spontaneously. They take more risks with language and they engage more consistently. And over time, this can lead to fewer escalations, reduced meltdowns, stronger relationships, increased participation. Not because children were pressured or forced to imitate, but because they felt safe. So let's go through a quick recap of today's episode, all about communication, autism, and AAC. AAC is not a reward and should never be earned. Communication supports regulation rather than waits for it. Withholding AAC can increase stress and reduce trust. And modeling AAC without expectation builds safety and access. You don't need to change everything all at once. Small intentional shifts matter. Try this. Keep the AAC device available during moments of frustration or distress. Model one regulated word today without prompting or expecting a response. And honor communication attempts, including protests, as meaningful. If you're realizing that AAC has been used conditionally or you're just unsure how to model it during real-life moments, you're not alone. My AAC Bootcamp is designed to help educators and caregivers feel confident modeling AAC through the entire day, including transitions, play, and moments of dysregulation. Register by going to www.autismlittlelearners.com/boot26. Now, this bootcamp is available starting February 9th, 2026. So if you're listening to this after that, it's not available at this time, but you can always reach out to us, support@autismlittlelearners.com, to see if we have another bootcamp coming up. AAC does not need to be perfect to be powerful. When communication is always available, regulation becomes more possible for everyone. Thank you for spending this time with me. You're doing important work, and the small supports you put into place matter. Keep leading with connection, and I'll talk to you again next week.